I want it to be focused on back end and front end mostly, and little and on the system design. Yes, sure, I will do that. Is my screen visible? Thank you. So I'll start with front end. In front end, I have experience with React, Redux, Next, Vue, Angular, Next. Um, with this front end technology, I have the experience, and with this, I have been working with 5 years. I have a extensive work experience with this one. I have built multiple scalable apps using this front end technologies. In the backend side, I have experience with Next.js, Node Express, then uh, Python. In Python, I have experience with Fast API. So with that, and little bit about Spring Boot. So with this technology, I have built backend. I have built very scalable backends which are capable of handling 10,000 concurrent users. I have worked with microservices from 16 to 24 microservices I have handled. I have also experience with building monolithic monorepo architecture as well as microservice architecture. Um, about roles. So initially, I started as a junior software engineer, and then I moved to senior, and currently I am a tech lead. Um, and I have been uh, also doing code reviews. Part of my work is to help juniors make it into code, collaborate with clients, and reach a point where everything is same, everything is in sync. Yes, that's pretty much about it. Okay. Yes, I'm ready to begin with problem one. Yes. Okay. I see it's a very straightforward fast API where we are having it's a to do list with we have a to dos endpoint where we get all the to dos. Then there is a post API um, where we are pushing the code and button. Okay. Okay. So our I think is um, what I think is it's a to do app which does the fetching of the to do, posting new to do item, and deleting a to do based on the ID what it has. Um, and what I will change is like I can add a status, like what is the exact status. I can add a error and try catch handler to log the error also. and instead of returning only the message to do added to do removed, which is little incomplete, so I will add like you have added this to do and also attach the response of that. So that way it will be very clear to the user like what is removed and what is added. Yes. Uh, 1 second. 1 second. So, so the um, works I think is when we are doing a mutable default argument to do's as empty, to do is equal to empty array. So this is I think a biggest bug because what happens is that the same list persists between the different requests and even users also. So this can be like give a unpredictable behavior. Like to-dos can be duplicated or leaked between the request. So I think that is one major issue. And the second thing I see is in the delete app.delete. So the to-dos where we are using this T40 in list comprehension which we are using. So this only reassigns the local variable to do's. It does not like modify the global list returned by the get to do's. So the change is lost right after the function is ending. So I think that's one of the bigger major issue. And also I see like there is no validation. Yeah. So to refactor is will what I will do is like I will create a to do initiator to do empty as empty at the top only. So a single variable, single global list uh, for the in memory, and I will remove this to do is equal to empty array from the function argument, and I will put it on the top. So it will be like a global one. And then for the delete item, what I will do is I will add um, in place update in the in place only to the to do's. I won't update it like the whole to do's equal to everything. I'll just update to do's, then at the same place I will just replace that instead of replacing the whole throughout. So this only change the local variable. This will not impact the list. Yes. So I think first important thing will be adding the pydantic models and returning proper HTTP code. And and if we are dealing with so one important thing is I will add the UUIDs also. So I will have the correct IDs which are scalable and which are different all the time, and a better dependency structure. I can have a better dependency structure. So suppose like I am using a MongoDB schema, schemaless, schemaless. Then I will use the motor async Python driver. So that will help with the motor, and I can populate it with using that. To create a scalable system, I will use a ORM, PostgreSQL. So that ORM will use to validate the inputs. I will use Pydantic also, and the SQL Alchemy is the ORM which I will use. So that will give a benefit. Sure. Will it be a front end or will it be a back end? Will it be a front end or it will be a back end? Yeah. So are you going? Ye- Yes, you'll be going to explain this also, like how you explained the previous one. You'll explain this code snippet also. I think the JavaScript code is also very buggy, and it has some, it has four major issues which I can see right now. So if you can see in the line three IDs for each, and then there is a async operation going on. So for every ID, it's going to call multiple APIs, and many concurrent APIs will be called, which and there is no time to await for that. So instead of having the answer, we'll get uh, the same thing. in- So that is actually incorrect. So it launches all. It will be like all concurrent calls, but there is no await for them. So that is incorrect. Then there is the fetch profiles method which is used. The fetch profiles is returning before the API call has finished. So we won't get anything and we'll get in the console only zeros. Instead of expecting five, we'll get only zeros. And I think there is no error handling, so we cannot catch this error also what is going on. And this whole code is the guarantee. There is no ordering guarantee like what will happen first. So instead of having this, we should have written await properly, and instead of looping through all, we should have created a separate function where we are using async and await properly. It's a messy code. I'm not going to review allow this code. So in the fetch profile IDs, what I will do is I will, instead of looping through a for each, I will just use promise.all, So the benefit of promise.all is it sends all the API calls and gets the response. So that will solve the problem where we are using IDs and there are so many concurrent calls. And instead of using the, if you want to use the for loop only, then I will then I will add a for loop. But what I will do is I will push all the responses in the response.json in profiles. In the profiles I will push all the rest.json without, and I will not use the storage for sure. Sorry, can you please repeat what you answered? Yes, you are answering something. So even if the some API fails that time, we can use promises. So promise.all will return, even if some of the API has failed, promise.all will return the success ones, and it will um, I will add a console try catch uh, where I will catch all the fail errors, and the normal errors I will just normal success ones I will just get it from the promise all, and whichever is fulfilled I will take it, and whichever is rejected I will log it in the console. Like what are the errors, why are the errors, and all those things. So I will have the good profiles with me. Yes. Can you repeat again? You want you want that only three API calls happen, even if there are five profiles. So instead of calling it five times, you just want it to happen only one time, three times. Like limit the API to three. In that case, I think in that case I will implement the small concurrency pool. For the previous solution, was the answer like using the concurrency pool to I limit the API to three call at a time? So you mean I need to implement a small concurrency pool and use workers to only make three calls simultaneously? How am I doing in the interview? The question is not loaded yet. Oh, it has loaded. Hmm. Are you there? Hello. I think I'm ready. All I can see all the. Yeah, I'm. I'm ready. I think. Yes, yes, I'm ready to analyze. Yes, yes, I'm ready to analyze this. I have found few major issues. Um, the very first bug I see here is the items. The main issue is that the use effect depends on items. So every time the item is updated, the effect runs again, fetching and updating items. So this caused like a infinite loop and repeated API calls. So and the fix for this is to like remove the items from the dependency array, and yeah, it should not be there. The items should not be there. Uh, and then the second fix, yeah, second fix I'm seeing is yes, I can see here. Yeah, yes, the keys internet and the second bug is the using array index as a key, and the efficiency we can improve in the filtering by using the memoization. So we can use the use memo to improve the filtering, like it's efficient to filter a large list. And in the list index, it should not be the index. It should no, using array index. This should not be the case. In case of using the key, we can use item.id instead. These two, I think, are the important reviews. What do you think? I will use memo to filter because this is a very large for large filtering. It will be better to use memo for expensive filtering. So that I will use memo. Can you tell me what I'm missing? Yes, yes, we can use debouncing. So when we use debouncing, at that time there will be a delay in what user is inputting. So the filtering will happen only once the user have typed. In most cases, user have finished typing because there's certain set of delay in debouncing. So we can use definitely debouncing in this part to reduce the number of API calls hitting it out backend. Also, what is your feedback? How am I doing? How much you will you rate me out of 10? Is the whole call transcribed, or how it will be recorded and seen by the by anyone? I think it was very human-like interview. Uh, okay. Any feedbacks you want to give also? Yes, I am ready to begin. Yes, these are main my main expertise. I'm a full stack developer. I have experience for about 5 plus years, and I have expertise with Python, Fast API, React, Node.js, AWS. I work for major US clients. Um, I have been working system design also, and in consulting. Also, I have a consulting experience, so where I consult startups. And, yeah, that's a great question. So you want me to explain a scalable system? So what I we will prefer is we'll I'll start with vertical scaling when during the peak hours when we have don't when we don't have the multiple instances. So first of all, we'll go with horizontal scaling. We'll do horizontal scaling because at that time we can have many instances, and then I'll use a load balancer in AWS load balancer ALB. I will also use uh, API gateway to filter out and use rate limiting, and um, yeah, I will prefer microservices and stateless API architecture. So it improves the for improving the fault tolerance, and I will increase the availability zones to have multiple availability zones, and data backup also there. So auto scaling groups, I will use ECS. You can use ECS Fargate, Kubernetes Helm cluster. uh, yeah, we'll do caching, and we'll have CDNs implemented across the zones. We can containerize the application and deploy. So we'll use ECS, most probably ECS, EKS, in AWS. Those are the terms. And for logging, uh, so yeah, these are the things I will use. We'll have um, so this interview for front end developer or is for back end? Yes. So first, I will design the microservices, and each will have its own separate table. We'll do internal microservice API calls using the RabbitMQ, and we will have Kafka for streaming streaming services. We can use Kafka. We can also use RabbitMQ, and there is BullMQ also in Next.js. So those two message queues, and then I will in the database section I will have will follow the ACID properties while making the database, and we'll have few read replicas to improve the performance, and one write replica which we'll have. We'll also add Redis as a memory cache, so Redis for in memory store, and then internal microservices call we can do normally. Um, so to maintain the database, we'll follow ACID properties, and we will have a orchestrator. So we'll use in one centralized orchestrator, which is for the shared repositories. We'll use the one orchestrator. So I have to review this and give you a perfect solution. Yeah, you will present as soon without calling the candidate or soon, but without one. With plenty of blank section lines between each section to reduce the clutter rates in prompt. Explain how you understand the prompt. Okay. I think I'm ready to. Yeah, I'm ready. No, I think the response is generally good. It selects the right AWS primitives, SNS for fan out and like CQS for SQS for FIFO for ordering, plus like at least once delivery, and DynamoDB for idempotency. The pseudocode is synthetically correct, covers publishing, dedupe checks, and basic TLQ behavior. But I think it does fall. It's not like very good. It does fall short in some areas. I think it does not explain like why SNS and SQS FIFO is chosen over alternatives. FIFO, uh, yeah, the DDF logic lacks in the DynamoDB conditional writes, which are necessary to avoid race condition under load. It also misses visibility timeout tuning, exponential back off, and the poison message handling. So I think that those things are missing, and there is no monitoring, and as such, there is no discussion on the monitoring part. What I think uh, is good is the choosing between the deduplication logic. The pseudocode is clear, but those are the areas which are missing, like YSQS, SNS, and SQS. Um, no, there is no mention of the FIFO throughput limits. Uh, those things are missing, and there is. Mm. So for a better architecture, like um, I can enhance using the SNS for best for fan out and decoupling publishers for consumers, and then I will use the DynamoDB low latency idempotency store, which store with conditional writes to avoid the deduplication race condition. And yeah, that was those things I will add. Hmm. So I will have multiple read replicas. Once I have multiple read replicas, the all the request which just needs the read will go from the replicas, and whatever we need to write into our database that will go in first in memory cache store which has a TTL, and then it will go for a write. So that way I will handle that writing operation. So it will not do a race condition. Um, and then um, I'll start with the access patterns, then choose a storage model, SQL with partitioning for asset properties, system with DynamoDB for massive for the this one. And so once the so idempotency is like if there's many multiple operations are producing same results, uh, even if we're performing it, so I will use Redis caching. Um, Excellent question. I will use TTL. I will use time. I will use TTL with Redis. So, oh, that's question. So, so DynamoDB conditional writes transaction. So they are atomic per item and support multi-item transactions. So we'll use Redis for short-lived transaction only, logs, leader direction counters. So if you use Redis log, we'll always use a token plus TTL plus atomic release, and consider red log for multiple Redis nodes. But DynamoDB conditional writes often remove the need for logs. So we'll add idempotency keys and merging retries and monitoring of the consistent failure. If there are any failure, we can log that failure. So CloudWatch we can add for any API call which is failing. Um, we can add all for all the statuses 400, 400, 500. So we can add a API gateway latencies, CPU percentage, SQS length, the anomaly with throttle events. Um, so all those things we can add. When a sudden spike has occurred, I will just increase the horizontal. I will just increase the vertical scaling as soon as possible, and then I will use auto scaling groups. So that will add or remove AC2 instances. I will set the target as per that. I will increase the load for AW scaling groups so it can handle more. Um, Cloud alarms, so we can use Lambda services we can use to send us message directly through email. Can you repeat again in one line? What was your question? What scaling techniques which you use in production? Okay, that's a good approach. I think this is the thing which should be which is the answer or correct answer. So I'm saying you haven't asked me the question about front end. So is this call not related to front end anyways? Because I'm a front end developer mostly and a back end, then a back end developer. You haven't asked me any question in the front end. So can I take this interview? Retake the interview and can you delete this video recording?